the outside world, they're just part of life. But inside these walls, they're invaluable.
That's a constant security issue that we're facing on a daily basis.
They're used to plot escapes, threaten innocent people, and even commit murder beyond the bars.
Cell phones are number one. They're our number one threat, and we have to combat it every single day.
In a place where communication is a luxury, a simple cell phone can be very dangerous. And Director of Prisons Kenneth Lassiter says they're being smuggled in by the hundreds.
One cell phone is too many cell phones.
In 2005, only about 30 or so phones were confiscated in prisons across the state, but by 2012, that number jumped up to more than 850, and those are only the ones the prison system knows about.
Now, one of the most common ways cell phones are snuck into prisons is simply people throwing them over these walls, which means guards have to come out and search yards like this daily to make sure those phones don't end up inside.
It's very difficult to try to figure out, one thing, why they want a cell phone, then secondly, once they get a cell phone, what they're doing with it and how they're even getting it through our security measures that we have in place.
Now, some of that additional security is right here before you even enter the prison. More than just metal detectors, but this is called a cell sense. It actually picks up the specific metals found in cell phones, so they can detect if you're trying to sneak one in.
The one way that we hate to speak about, but it's the truth, is sometimes they're able to corrupt our staff. We have to figure out a way to train our staff, educate our staff, and compensate our staff so that they can't be corrupt by inmates.
Once the phone's inside, it's a game of hide and seek.
This is a typical inmate cell here at Central Prison. It has a bunk, pillow, clothing, hygiene items, reading material. Anywhere that they have property, they can store a cell phone.
WNCN Investigates dug through nearly 40,000 inmate records to find prisoners who have had infractions for possessing a cell phone. Once we compiled a list, we sent that over to prison administration requesting interviews. When they found out we were talking about cell phones, they wouldn't let us talk to any inmates.
The inmate accused of masterminding the plot to kidnap a Wake Forest man faces a new federal charge tonight.
But it was just last year that investigators say Kevin Melton, who's serving a life sentence, orchestrated an entire kidnapping and attempted murder using a smuggled cell phone.
We didn't know how this was going to turn out.
The victim was Frank Jansen, the father of Colleen Jansen, the Wake County Assistant DA who put Melton behind bars.
He spent 5 nights in the hands of a group of very dangerous people.
After days of threats and horrifying texts, the FBI was able to find and rescue Jansen in Georgia. But not all cases end this way, and Lassiter says they're trying to find ways to stop it.
We're looking at every bit of the technology that's out there currently. We're looking at the best practices, what has worked in other states, and trying to figure out what is best for our system.
Cell phone jammers are illegal, and a cell phone tower monitoring system for every prison across the state would cost millions. The question now is, do you put a price on safety to keep these cells out of these cells? Jonathan Rodriguez, WNCN News.